So I've done a test piece. I've soldered 2 copper wires together here and touched it in here on this piece. It's the same as my neck, and it looks quite nice, and I think I can level them out and lift them, rise them up and down. So I think I'm going to make my own frets. So here I go. So let's get started. I'm taking this electrical wire, which is the thicker type, and just cutting it off there like that. Put this wire out of the way. Now all I'm doing is taking a knife and basically getting it in to the wire, to the copper, and then pulling back with the wire. There you go. And it'll pair quite easy, you know. That's how you pair these wires. Want to get it done quickly. Always pull the knife away from you as a safety precaution. Right, I'll try to show you again here. There we go, and you dig it in and you just pull the wire through. Well, caught it a bit there, that's all right. Usually doesn't happen, depends how the wire is, if you've got a nick in it. So there we go, and there it is stripped. All right, so there's your wire stripped. Now we just got to straighten it a bit, which I'll show you. So we're going to straighten the wire, and we're going to make pieces about this length here. A whole pylon, which is just cutting with the wire cutters, and then soldering 2 together, right? 2 pieces. So what I'm doing to straighten them is just put them in this here. I don't like that nick there. There's a bad nick in this. We'll just straighten that with a pliers. So it's now I just put it in this and close, and you start getting a better shape right away. Once you get it fairly straight, you just keep turning it. It's a patience game. See, we've got one there done, look. And when I have them individual, I'll straighten them more, but you can see how that's straightening out. Now I'll do the whole wire and then cut out pieces. So that's where I'm at. I'm just going to cut myself, 39 pieces, whatever it is, 38 pieces. Yeah, so I've cut 20 sets, and I have 1 extra, so I'm only 19, but I've got 2 extra just in case. Now I've just tapped these and straightened them so that they really look straight, and gave it a quick sand with a, what is it, a P80. Any sandpaper, you sand off a little bit of this. Sometimes they have a little bit of plastic or something on them. But anyway, just to make the solder take easier. And I'm going to just go solder these 2 together now, and we'll see what we got, right? So let's take these out of the way. Put them all up there. And we'll start soldering the whole pile of them. So we're going to be soldering for a while. So let's get to it. So there's the hammer I've been using for straightening on the back of the vice grips on the flat metal, like an anvil. So I tap it in a circle till it's flat. So now I just made 4 nails as a jig so this doesn't fly around the place, so I can do more of them at once. And what I'm going to do is take a little bit of flux with the brush, put it on there. Now remember, I've sanded this. Once you soldered one side, it usually sticks together. You can always push these in if they're a bit loose. Now we're going to take a bit of solder. As you can see, I'll bring that into the frame for you. Now I usually poke my gun into the flux just to clean it. Sometimes I wipe it on a paper tissue to get it really clean. And we're away. We're recording still. There we go. And put a little flux on this here. I think I already did, didn't I? Get them lined up. That's pretty good. Maybe hold it if I have to. There we go, that's taken. So I'm on my way. Got to turn on the fan for health reasons, keep the smoke blowing away from me. Right? So I can hold this here now. And just touch this. Come on, take. It's a bit cold. My gun's a bit cold right now. It's got to warm up again. Maybe I didn't get flux in there enough. Let's try again. Maybe I forgot the flux with all my rushing. Hold it with the back of the brush here. And I think I need a bit more solder on there. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes this happens to you and you wonder why. And all of a sudden it all works again, right? There it goes. There you go. And we'll put one on the end here as well. Look at it taking now. It's getting really hot, the copper wire. Look at that. And run it right along it if I want. It's a bit much, but for the first one I'll do this. Get a bit more solder. Now that's together. Wow. So there's number one done. And we'll take her out. There you go. Double piece. And it's going to go in the guitar like that, I suppose. When I'm done, that's one done. So let's do another 20 without the camera, I think. Yep, I'm just, as you can see, sandpapering each fret. Got a whole pile here to do. How much fun is that? And then I got to still straighten them. And I'll do 5 frets, I think, like doubles soldered, and then see how I'm doing. That's 1, 2, another couple more to do. Anyways, I'll get back to you maybe in an hour's time. Yep, I've been working for a while now, and I find the best way to straighten them is with the 2 aluminum jaw protectors in. And you just press. Turn, press, turn, press. And then I turn around and I do it the other way. Rather than hammering it or banging it all the time. And I get these really straight rods then, see? Which I really like that. So that's the way I'm doing it at the moment. And then, if you come down here, I put them into my holder here. Nice and straight, and if they're a little out, I just press it with the pliers after I solder one end. And I'll solder one end, then I'll press them together, and I'll have my next fret. So a little bit more flux. I got to turn my fan again, I'm afraid. Try to stay healthy. We'll do one more. That's how I'm doing at the moment. I use the back of the paintbrush for holding because it's wood and it doesn't take away the heat. Just let it heat up a bit. The wires take a little bit to heat up with the air blowing across them. So that's a bit of a drawback, having the air, so I don't breathe in this flux smoke, but healthier. So it takes me a little longer. So what? Come on, baby, catch. It's really hot in a minute, and then do it for me. Maybe it's because the camera's on, huh? There it is. And I moved the nails out so that I get the solder all the way along the frets to the end where I'm going to cut them off later on. You can actually see the solder running between there. I can see that running together, so I'm okay with that. And more solder. And so on. All the way across. It caterpillars along sometimes, if you're lucky. There it goes. You can see it run up into that end there. It's where you want it. That's it. I think that's my last one for tonight. Put the gun away. Turn off this. So as you can see over here, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, this is number 15. I started around 6, so I'm doing quite well. Oh, that's hot. Whoops! Shouldn't have done that. So I've only got these left. So, you know, we're not doing bad. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing a bar somewhere, I think. And we'll be done. Yeah, I moved these out a little further so that at the end, because I'll take a cold one this time. Because when I put it on the actual guitar itself, it's going to be like that, and I'm going to cut off the ends. And I want it soldered right to the end of that cutoff. So, and some of the ends have a little bit of not soldered at the very ends, so I just like the way I did that. I changed that. Anyways, it was a good night. So here's my plan, like this one here. I'm going to cut slots, and I'm going to drop them in, and then tap them in with a rubber mallet. Like this, I hope. Cut them, or press them in, whichever way it goes. There it goes, right? Press them in, cut them, clean them off, take them out, clean them off, and then epoxy them in. There's one cut, right? And see how nicely that fits? And then epoxy it in at the right height. Sounds easy. So on my guitar, I have these lines marked, and I just keep sawing and sticking them in. Now I haven't done this before either, so. And after I soldered them, I washed them with soap and water. You don't want to leave the flux on and not wash it off, because it will rust, and you know, or get a rusty look inside, and you don't want that. So we're going to put these in my shaft now and see how they work. This will be very interesting to see how it plays and how it sounds and everything else. So I got to be really careful to make these marks with my hacksaw first, so that they're precise, and then I'll see how I'm going to get deeper. There's my mark. Yeah, so I'm finding if I bring the saw backwards, this out of the way here. If I draw the saw backwards, it's safer. I don't chip as much. The wood's a bit soft, I think. I'm just eyeing roughly what's right here. So what I'm trying to do here is, I have a bar in here, and I have a bar in here, right? Let's get back. Can we see them both? The ones here and the ones here? Yeah. And what I'm trying to do is make this equal in height. So I'm going to put a bar there, and a bar up the end the same way. And see, the spacing underneath is equal. And then I will lay in the ones in between. So at least I have a special height for everything. So I'll put those in first. And then I'll put in the rest. So I'm going to put in one at the beginning here. This one's a bit loose, so I'm putting in this one. And one up near the middle here, and then one up near the end. And then I'll fill in the rest of the frets. Now I cut that with a hacksaw, and then I had to use a small needle file to file them to roughly the right heights. Some are a little, this one's a little deeper, so I'll just put a bit more filler in it. There we go. So I've epoxied in all these, you know, soldered bars I had. Remember the 2 soldered bars? And now all I'm doing is just cutting off the long ends. I mean, I really don't know how this is going to play out. Maybe I should put it up there like that first and cut a couple. Right? There, like that. I don't know how this is going to play out in the end, but it's interesting. So I'm just cutting off those ends here, and then I'll file them. it.